Everyone, we are live with episode 2 of Uncut and Uncorked. I'm excited to be here. Let me just make sure that everything is hitting on all cylinders. So let me make sure everything is live everywhere it needs to be. Um, awesome. Here we go. Okay, we are live now. Make sure. So we live on Facebook. Okay, we live on YouTube. Okay, awesome. Well, we're gonna wait for some folks to get in here before we get started. But I am happy today because we have a great guest today, which I'm super excited about. Um, yeah, great guest, and she's gonna give y'all definitely some game that I wish I would have received early on in my journey of buying a home. Um, but yeah, I'm excited about it. So let me just double check and make sure we good on all cylinders. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. Let's see, we got one person in here. Awesome. All right, well, welcome back, y'all. It's episode 2 of Uncut and Uncorked. It's your humble, gracious, bearded host, Earthlyvine. I'm super excited for today's episode. It's going to be a great one, y'all. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about just ownership. We're talking about some great things. So it's really going to be good, which is amazing. But first, just want to ask y'all, for my live viewers, not my folks who are listening back on the audio, but for my live viewers, how's your week going? How's your Sunday going? Put it in the chat. Let me know, right? We can see the live chat. Put it in the chat. Let me know what y'all drinking on. Let me know what wine y'all drinking on. Y'all know I got my wine over here sipping, right? So yeah, put it in the chat how y'all feeling, what y'all drinking on. Let me know what's happening in y'all lives right now, and we're gonna go ahead and hop into everything, which is great. So again, put y'all wine, which it could be apple juice, water, anything. Put it in the chat, and we super excited to talk about it. So, for those who don't know, this is my second episode of my podcast. I've been doing it for a while, but this is the second. Thank you. Oh, I got my auntie in here. I feel special right now. I got my auntie in the building. Shout out to my aunt Peanut in the building. That's Big Peanut for those who didn't know. So, but yeah, I'm super excited. I've been doing this podcast for a little while, but it kind of fell off a little bit. For those who know, I recently had a son, and so because of that, with my son taking priority, kind of had to take a step back from the podcast. Really couldn't do it as much, but now he's a little older, 7 months now, and so I have a little more time to be able to do it, and so I'm super excited to be able to do it and be able to get back to it. So this is episode 2. Make sure y'all check out episode 1 on my YouTube. So if y'all can, please make sure you all subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you can, subscribe. That is the YouTube channel, Uncut and Uncorked. Please subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. And also follow me on Instagram at Earthlyvine. That's where you'll get all like episode information and all of that good stuff. So let's get into it, y'all. So y'all know for this show, every week we do our wine of the week, right? We got to do our wine of the week. And so, but before we do that, I want to make a toast to all my viewers who are watching. If you are watching, put your glasses up, raise your wine up, raise your juice, whatever it is, because we're going to sip to you all for just life and just for all the beautiful things that you have going on right now. So put those glasses up and let's take a sip together, y'all. Let's go ahead. That's some good wine. That's some real good wine. So, okay. So the wine that I'm drinking on this week, y'all, I'm drinking on a 2021 Semi, right? And it's a Sauvignon Blanc, which is a white wine. Okay. It's about $15 to $20. I can't remember. I think it's around 18 if I'm being exact. But it's a beautiful wine. It's a Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc is probably my second favorite wine. My favorite is Cabernet Sauvignon. I'm definitely a red wine lover, and so yeah. And so this wine is really bright, as you can see, right where I'm at. It's still summertime. It's still hot, so it's a bright, crisp, and vibrant wine, right? And so. But also a really strong wine as well. So yes, it's vibrant. Yes, it's crisp, very sharp, has a very sharp taste to it, but it's also a very strong wine as well. And so, and we'll kind of get into that later. But it has some aromas of, zest, some lime zest, some orange blossom, and grapefruit as well too, which is good. And so if you're out there, if you love white wine, this is definitely a great recommendation right here. One of my go-tos for Sauvignon Blanc, especially in the summertime, if you want something that's really fruity. but also has kind of a strong taste to it. This is also a good one. Some good foods that it pairs with is bell peppers. So if you're, you eat any type of stuffed pepper meal or anything like that, this is a good wine to go with it. Zucchini, if you have zucchini a part of your meal, this is a good wine to go with it. White fish, right? If you're grilling out on a grill, you know what I'm saying? Well, I guess in October now, so never mind. Some people may not be grilling out, but where I'm at, you can grill out on a grill, get you some white fish, and then also some basil pesto pizza. So not red pizza sauce, but the basil kind. So yeah, good wine. So put in the chat what y'all drinking on. I really want to know. I'm really excited to learn what y'all drinking on. I see we got some more things in the chat. So my girl Quinn is in the building. Hey Quinn, I miss you and love you too. I'm really. I need to call you and catch up with you, see how you're doing, how everything's going, because life been life. And so, okay. But now we're gonna bring on my guest, y'all. I'm super excited to bring on my guest. Today's guest is awesome. So I purposely bring on these wines because it reminds me of my guest, right? Very vibrant, very crisp, right? Very sharp on her toes, all those great things, and very strong as well. Very, very strong-willed person, but also vibrant, chill, laid back, which is good. And that wine reminds me of her, which is why I picked that wine. And that person I'm talking about is a very great person by the name of Bianca Suggs. And so as y'all saw on the flyers and everything we've been promoting, Bianca Suggs is a real estate agent in the Pittsburgh area. She's the director of First Impressions at Keller Williams Exclusive Pittsburgh. She received her MBA from Carlow University in 2017, and she's also a Slippery Rock alum. I'm too a Slippery Rock alum, not my undergrad, but I got my graduate degree from Slippery Rock University, and so we kind of have that commonality here, which is how me and Bianca met, and we're gonna talk about that. So without further ado, yo, I'm gonna bring up Bianca, and we're gonna get right into it. So yeah, let's do it. Awesome, Bianca. Hello, how you doing?
Hello, and let me just say that intro. Oh my goodness.
You love it?
Yes,
Oh.
now I gotta go out and buy that bottle,
Yeah. I appreciate that. Gave the Steve Harvey introduction. I like to call
it.
So, yes. But no, thank you for joining today. I really appreciate this. But first, how are you? Like how's you doing? How's life going? Just how are you in general right now?
I'm doing great, coming off the weekend. Weekend was chill. I was baby free. That's always good.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Business has been good for the year.
Okay.
So good.
That's good. I love that. Well, thank you again for joining the show. For those who don't know, Bianca and I met some time ago. Actually, we met in like I said, at Slippery Rock University. Which is where I went to grad school, and she did her undergraduate degree there. And so we kind of have some common friends that allowed us to cross paths in lives. And so my line brother, Sean, and her are, they have a relationship and family, I believe, right? That's your cousin, right? Sean's your cousin, right?
Like a cousin, but no, not technically.
Okay, not technically. Okay, but like a cousin. And so, that's how we met. And so we have some other common friends as well, too, just through those bonds and those relationships. So super excited to have her on the show. But next, I have to ask, I know we've been kind of going back and forth via text about the wine you're drinking, but I got to ask what you're sipping on over there for this episode.
Okay, so nothing special, nothing too fancy. Actually, my mom brought this bottle over.
Okay.
Just on some GP. It's the Elmo Pio. Have you heard of that?
Elmo, I have not, no.
So I've seen it at Wine and Spirits all the time. It's peach flavored. I love peach flavored Moscato. That's like one of my favorites.
Okay.
So yeah, like.
Okay. Cool. No, that's dope. I love it. Put in the chat again what y'all drinking on. We want to know whether it's water. It could be anything. We just want to know what y'all sipping on while y'all watching this episode, which is good. So, awesome. Well, we're gonna jump right into it, y'all. So. As I said, I titled this episode "Black Women in Sales" because I think it's important, right? I work like my actual 9 to 5. I work with a lot of individuals in a sales department, so I know the grind, the hustle that it takes to be in sales. I know sales is dominated traditionally by white men, right? And so I think because of that, I think it's important to highlight the women who are in sales and particularly Black women, because Black women are in sales, right? And they do have a lot of great things going on in sales in terms of generating revenue, all those things, right? Bringing the company business, bringing new partners, all of that stuff. But I think they don't get the recognition they deserve. And so because of that, I wanted to bring Bianca on, as I know, as I've been following her via social media, that she's been into real estate and she's been grinding according to her social media. So I wanna go ahead and highlight that, which is great. So if you have questions for Bianca, please put them in the chat. I know I have my set of questions that I like to ask, but if there's questions from you all, please do not feel free, or I guess do not be scared to ask questions if you have questions for her. Also, before we get started, follow her. These are her, social media handles down here, so you can follow her on all of her social media handles. But I guess to start off the interview, right? One of the things I love to do is I love to go back to the beginning. I think it makes perfect sense because it explains and it gives you your why. I think everyone has a why, and so this kind of genuinely brings out the why. So I want to ask you, explain how you got into explain how you got into the real estate business, and then what attracted you to the real estate business, if you don't mind me asking.
Okay, so this is like a little bit of a long-winded answer.
Hey, go ahead. We got time today. We got time today.
All right. So the crazy thing is I really wanted to go into real estate back in high school. I remember we had this career fair, and there was this lady there from Howard Hanna.
Okay.
If you're familiar with that real estate company.
I am,
so
yep.
She gave me some real estate information and I took it home. I was so excited because originally I feel like I was drawn to real estate because as a kid, I just loved like nice houses. So I'm like, this might be interesting. This might be something that I would want to do. I hated school. And I knew that you didn't have to go to college.
Okay.
So I took it home like, Dad, I want to be a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And he was like, you ain't gonna make no money because this was when the housing market crashed, like 2008, 2009.
Okay.
So
okay, yeah.
He was obviously looking out for my best interest. Like, no, you're going to school. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to school. So I went to school, started out in sports management, sports marketing.
Yeah.
Then ended up transitioning into health service administration because obviously we all know healthcare is where the money is at. Graduated, worked in the insurance field, the medical equipment field, and I'm just like, this sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I want to do this.
Yeah.
So I started really pondering on like what are my interests? What do I like doing? What do I like being involved in? So then it came to youth development, helping kids, high school kids.
Okay.
So with that, I wanted to transition into the nonprofit sector. So I went back to school, went to Carla to get my MBA in a concentration in leadership and social change. So with that, I did some youth development programming for my church. They have a community center. So I did some after school work and some summer program work with high school kids. That was for like 2-3 years.
Okay.
I transitioned into elementary school, did some programming there. And then ultimately I got a director job at a nonprofit for maternal and child health.
Okay.
And that position was the most stressful. I was the most unhappy, but I was also making the most money that I've ever made in my professional career.
Okay.
But when I say like drained 24/7, and then that on top of being a single mom, it was just like, I want to do something that really makes me happy. And I'll never forget. One night I couldn't sleep. At 4:00 in the morning, I turned on the TV and watched Netflix. And you know how Netflix shows you like the previews of shows.
Yeah.
So one of the previews was Selling Tampa.
Oh, okay.
Which is just about a Black woman. She owns a brokerage in Tampa. All of her agents are women of color. I sat up at 4:00 in the morning and watched the entire thing.
Oh,
so
wow.
Then I feel like my passion for real estate really just rebirthed itself.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Let me go get my real estate license.
Yeah.
This was when I was still working full time. I did it online, and luckily one of my friends sponsored it because it wasn't cheap. So got my real estate license, and yeah, here we are today.
I love that. I love that. So you kind of had a journey where well, I guess first you started off with a passion of real estate, but you were veered off a little bit, but ultimately you got led back to your passion area,
Mm-hmm.
which is real estate. And Selling Tampa is an amazing show if you haven't watched it. I haven't watched the full thing. I think I only watched like 2 episodes, but I know it's Sherelle. I believe
Yes.
that's her name. Sherelle's the one who owns the
Yep.
brokerage, and so really dope human being. I follow her on Instagram, all that stuff
Yes.
because she's also married to one of my like favorite football players, Chad
Yes. Yes.
Ochocinco.
Yes. Yes.
And so yeah, so definitely go watch it if it's still on Netflix. I'm not sure.
Yes.
I'm not really a
It
Netflix
should
lover
be.
like that. But yeah, so definitely go do it. But no, that's beautiful. And I'm happy that you were able to come back to your passion area. Um, yeah, which is dope, right? I think we all go through those areas of learning, right? I don't call them mistakes, I call them areas of learning where you
Right.
learn from those and then you kind of you get back on track. So that's beautiful. um One of the things that you talked about is that you want to become a real estate agent. Well, you went through the process of becoming a real estate agent, and I wanted you to explain that process because people think since there's no school involved, it's just a cakewalk, right? Like you could just go get your real estate license. Oh, it's cool. I'm gonna go take a class or two, and then I'm gonna go take the exam, and I'm good, right? Like that's pretty much it. But it's hard, and I know other people who have their real estate license and know the grind they had to go through to actually obtain their real estate license. So, can you talk through like the process of becoming an actual real estate agent, and then what steps did you take to become a real estate agent?
Yes. So, um, you do have to do some coursework. You have to dedicate, not even dedicate, you have to do 75 hours worth of coursework. Now, that is, I'm basing it off of PA requirements. It varies state to state. Some states require more hours of coursework. Like I know Texas, I think it's like 100 and something.
Wow.
But specifically for PA, you have to do 75 hours. Now you can do either online, which is the journey that I took, just because it was more um, in alignment with what I had going on, working full time. Like I said, being a single mom. Um, so that's what worked best for me. Um, or you can do in person. They do offer in person classes as well. Once you complete those, you have to do your pre licensing exam.
Okay.
Um, and then for your actual exam, you have to complete a national and a state portion. You have to pass both, or you cannot get your license. Now,
Okay.
say you fail one, but you pass the other, you still have to take that other one until you can get it.
Mm,
So once you pass those, then you're able to shop around, or even prior to getting your license or taking your test, shop around for your home brokerage, which is where you have to hang your license. Every real estate agent has to operate under a managing broker. So I would definitely say shop around, interview different brokerages, see what they're offering you as far as education, as far as commission splits, technology, all of that. But
mm.
once you pass your test, you choose your brokerage, they do their stuff, you hang your license there, and then boom, you're agent.
Boom, your agent. Okay, I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, one of the things I want to hit on is so when you get that, so when you get your actual license, right? Do you have to go and work for a brokerage, or can you veer off and do your own thing right
You
after
have to
getting your
work for
license?
a brokerage.
Okay. And
Mhm.
what is that time requirement, if you don't mind?
What do you mean?
Like, what is the so? How long do you have to get, or I guess how long do you have to work for a brokerage before you can veer off and kind of do your own real estate business?
So if you want to open your own brokerage, you have to be in sales, I believe, 2 years
Okay.
before you can, and then that's a whole nother, like you have to do more schooling to open your own brokerage and
Yeah.
get licensed as a broker.
Yeah.
Um, so
No,
yeah,
no, that's good to know because. Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said a lot of coursework.
Yeah, that's good to know because I asked you that because a lot of people think, oh, I'm a I'm gonna get some money, I'm gonna flip a house, and that's pretty
Hmm.
much it, and they don't have the understanding of well, there's still schooling and there's still things you have to go through before you can just get into real estate, before you can just buy
Mhm.
a home. So thank you for, I guess, kind of clarifying that, which is good.
Definitely. Now you can take, I will say, like there's a lot which I don't know too much of the technicalities of like wholesaling real estate where you
Mhm.
don't need an actual license, but
Mhm.
there are some like wholesaling companies where you do.
We do.
So
Okay.
there are like if you're a real estate investor, there are ways to
To get around it.
maneuver through the industry without a
Mhm.
license. But if you want to sell retail real estate, you have to be licensed.
Got you. Got you. Okay. That's really good to know. Um, okay. No, thank you for breaking that down. And with you being in real estate, you've been in real estate for a little while now. But earlier in the episode, I kind of talked about how it is dominated, right, in sales, not even just real estate, but sales in general. You tend to see it dominated by white men. So, how has that experience been for you as a black woman in sales, right? Your commission splits and, like actually houses and actually selling houses, right? Interactions with customers and things of that nature. So, how has that been for you as a black woman in sales?
I'll say it is kind of intimidating, especially for me, because
Mm.
first of all, I'm a very introverted person.
Okay.
And one of the things that I was worried about before getting my license is like, how successful am I going to be in this market, especially Pittsburgh, when we're a predominantly white city?
Yeah.
Um, how am I just going to be able to move? How am I going to set myself apart? How am I going to be able to really build a clientele? Because it's hard. Like being a black woman in sales, yes. Especially if you're, I don't even like sales, so it shocks me that I'm even doing this. But honestly, I really don't look at real estate as sales. I look at it as relationship building.
Mm-hmm.
Um, your clients, other real estate agents, other lenders, your contractors, everybody you work with, it's all about building relationships so that you can get business. That's a real part of building your business, like developing your referral pipeline. So people that you meet, when they think of real estate, they should think of you.
Mm.
Um, so that's what I'm trying to get better at. I'll honestly say,
Okay.
luckily, all my clients so far, they have come very organically through my social media, through people that I've already know have been feeding me business. But
Mm.
really going, what I want to focus on this upcoming year is really going more out on my limb to build my pipeline without anybody helping me.
Without anybody helping you, yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Um, no, that makes a lot of sense, which is really good. And so I'm glad you kind of broke that down because yeah, sales can be intimidating, right? I work with women and particularly black women who are in sales, and they kind of speak to some of those same things as well too. A little bit different field, but kind of the same realm, which is good. So um, you kind of hit on something though that was really important, and you talked about like getting out there and kind of building your own pipeline. And so I understand that the real estate business can be very competitive. So like how do you brand yourself as a real estate agent and ensure you're getting like business consistently?
I feel as though like just being myself, a phrase that you'll hear a lot in real estate if you ever become an agent is like people want to work with somebody that they know, like, and trust.
Okay.
And I am big on that.
Hmm.
Like when I first started, I'm like, I don't want to be salesy. Like I don't want to be fake. I don't want to be like too like uppity. Like I want to be me because at the end of the day, a real estate agent, you're your own business.
Yeah.
Um, you can run your business however you want to run it, and I want to make sure I'm running it as authentically Bianca as I can. So I want to make sure that my clients feel as though I'm very knowledgeable,
Hmm.
feel as though I'm honest, feel as though I really have their back in one of the biggest purchases of their lives. That's really, really important to me. So I feel as though just being uniquely me, authentically me is what has been working thus far. Now, I will
Yeah.
say, now that we are coming into a little bit of a down season, like I said, I am trying to like regroup and strengthen my brand so that it is getting more clientele. Really focusing on how I want my marketing material to be, how I want my social media to look, all of that. So
Yeah.
it's really, it's a work in progress, I'll say.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I would say I worked in sales for a very small period of time, probably for about 6 months. It just wasn't for me.
Hmm.
When I was in it, I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I can't do it because I was being fake, like, and that's why
Yeah,
I love when you said authentically you, uniquely you, because people can tell who's genuine and who's not, right? When I used
right.
to talk to people and try to sell them the product that I was offering them, they could see straight through if it was a good product or not, if I was being genuine.
Hmm.
Luckily, I was being genuine in who I was. Now, I ain't gonna say the company, but the product wasn't that good. So I'm like, I'm kind of lying to you low key, but they could tell. And so those could, they could see my, me being me and my authenticness coming through through the sale. And so with that, that's why I had some of the highest revenue on my team, because I was just being, myself, and that allowed me to get to where, I was at. So thank you for sharing that. I think that's good. You talked about too the housing, or I guess being on a down, I guess, season right now. So can you kind of talk to like the real estate market right now? Like, is it a good time to buy a home? Like, what is the market looking like right now at this current moment?
So right now we are seeing a shortage in inventory, particularly where we're at. Well, not where I'm at in Allegheny County of Pittsburgh. We're seeing a 8% decrease in inventory from compared to where we were at last year,
Okay.
and that's kind of been the trend um, so far this year. People don't want to sell their house because of interest rates. Now, some may have locked in a really good unicorn interest rate when interest rates were like at 2% during COVID. Now they're
Mhm.
all the way up to, I think this past week, it may have been like 7 point something.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
That's a high interest rate.
exactly. Well, no, so people think that is high, but for the housing market, it's kind of much like regular. Like I think
Okay.
our all-time high was 13%.
Okay.
Now like we're at 7, it's kind of like half of that. But people are really basing that current interest rate on what we were seeing in COVID,
Yeah.
which was, like I said, a unicorn.
Yeah.
Which we'll probably never see anytime soon. So I'll say, and people always ask, is it the right time to buy? It's the right time to buy if you have the means to. People are still buying.
Yeah.
Um, if you look at your finances, if you secure like a good real estate agent who can find you a good deal, it's a great time to buy.
It's a great time. Okay. Okay. That's good. Well, hey, she does have a business page, y'all. So if y'all need advice, make sure y'all go ahead and y'all hit up Bianca.
Yes,
And I'm gonna put
yes,
across again her social media handle. That's a
yes.
great plug. I love that. Uh, no, that's good. And I would agree too. I would like I know, you know, even with anything in life, right? You're never going. It's never going to be perfect when you're purchasing a big purchase, right?
Right,
But if you have the means to do it, definitely go ahead and do it. Because one thing I've always heard, or I've always preached, and that's kind of always been preached to me as of recently, is like if you really want it, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really want to buy this, if this makes you happy, go ahead and do it.
right,
I think that's what folks should do. So I
definitely.
I love that you said that.
And you
Um,
also have to remember, like a house it's an appreciated asset. So if you get it, you take care of it, you hook it
mhm.
up, you can sell it and make your money back, if not more. So it's definitely not going to be a loss for you if you can keep
Yeah,
up with it. If you can afford it and keep up with it, it's definitely not going to be a loss for you.
yeah, very true. And that's a good point, because I was going to ask you too, like kind of, in I guess you just kind of got to some of that in that last response, but kind of the importance of owning a home, right? I tell people all the time, ownership is very important. Now, I'm not saying you got to own the whole block, right?
Right,
I ain't saying you got to own everything, because we're not experts in every
right.
and everything. But I do think buying a home is important. So can you talk about the importance of like owning a home, right? Interest rates, the value going up on your home, selling your home, potentially using it as like a rental property if you want to in the future, like things of that nature. Can you kind of really hit on the importance of buying a home?
Definitely. So, like you said, ownership is important, and real estate can be one of your greatest investments, whether
Mhm.
you're buying real estate to hold it, live in it, fix it up, and then sell it down the line and get some good money, or buying a property, fixing it up. Say if you buy a duplex, you can live in one, rent out the other one, and then your tenant is paying your rent for you. So you're paying your mortgage for you. So you're living for free, basically. So there's just a lot of avenues you can take when it comes to real estate. As far as like interest rates, I know that people are so hyped up on how high they are right now, but I don't know if you have heard the phrase, which I kind of have a love-hate for, date the rate, marry the house, because you always had the option. If interest rates do go down, you had the option to refinance if you qualify. So say if you buy at an interest rate of where it's at now, say interest rates go down in a couple months next year, you can refinance. So it's all about just knowing and weighing your options, being very, very in the know. That's why it's so important to have, like, not to keep plugging myself, but
I got you.
Real estate agent, a good lender, all of that, just so you can make the most informed decision as to what you're trying to do when it comes to purchasing your piece of property.
That's important. Yeah. That's very important. Thank you for explaining that. That's good. And that kind of also too, I think one of the things I really would love for you to touch on, if possible, is talking about like, okay, I want to buy a house, right? Okay, what are some things I need to know before buying this house? How much money should I save up? How much should I put aside for closing costs? Things of that nature. Can you talk about like, okay, I just made a decision that I want to buy a home. So what's next? And can you kind of give some advice based on those next steps?
Yes. So the magical number that people love to tell you when it comes to buying a house is that you should have at least $10,000 saved up.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Now that I feel is like just a cushion, because it could be more, it could be less. It's all dependent upon the transaction in the terms of how you're buying it, whether you're buying it cash, whether you're buying it with a loan. If you have any grants, because there are grants out there that help you with closing costs. If you're getting any seller's assist, and seller's assist is basically when the owner of the home you're trying to purchase will front you some money for closing costs. But things that you really need to take in account for when it comes to purchasing a home is there are not fees. I don't want to call them fees, but I guess there are fees. There are things that you need to pay for outside of closing costs when it comes to purchasing a home. So one of them being your inspection. So that's when you'll have an inspector come in and see if there's any structural issues, any electrical issues, sewer line issues, anything that may need some addressing before purchasing the house. You'll need to pay for that. So an inspection can run between $300 and $500.
Okay.
And if you find something in inspection that makes you not want to buy the house, you don't get that money back. So that is a fee that you should be aware of. Also, an appraisal. Appraisal is basically just saying what the house is worth in this market. That can run you about $500-$600 as well, and that's another cost that you don't get back if you don't want to buy the house.
Okay.
And then as far as closing costs, now that can vary on the terms of your loan. That could vary on the terms of the purchase, but what's included in your closing costs are going to be your down payment for the house, the fees that you have for your lender, so underwriting fees, all of that, your title / closing company, their fees, any commission fees that your real estate agent has, your taxes, your insurance. So all of that could add up.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's different loan products that help with closing costs. There are different grants. So there are things out there that will help you with closing costs. So if you know somebody who recently purchased a home and they may have had access to some of these products and programs, I would definitely reach out to them. Your real estate agent should have some knowledge about what's out there too, your lender. So there's different avenues to help cut down costs when it comes to closing. So that shouldn't be don't get hyped up on $10,000 if you
Okay.
don't have it.
Okay. So it could be less, is what you're saying.
Yes, it could
Okay.
be less.
Okay.
I had a closing in my office last week. There's a program here, and long story short, the buyer, she only had to bring $1,200 to closing.
Wow, that is a blessing. I'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
that is rare. Well, I don't know, but
Very,
I was about to say that is very
yeah.
rare. From
But
what I
there are programs and grants out there, so
Wow.
it's
Okay.
possible.
Yeah, I hear that, people. It's possible to buy a home. So if you're thinking
Mhm.
about buying a home right now, you're probably watching this because you're thinking about buying a home, right? Don't second guess yourself. If you want to buy it, go for it. Make sure you have the financial means, and also hit up Bianca to get some advice too. So,
Yes, yes, yes,
so
yes.
yeah, so we love that. Um, okay, but enough about the real estate, all of that stuff. We talked a lot about that. I also kind of want to talk about just you as a person too, right? And so, one of the things I really wanted to ask you is, like, as someone who's very career oriented, also very family oriented, uh, and just overall great person. Who is a mentor or someone you look up to, and who keeps you inspired and motivated? Whether that's in real estate, whether that's outside of real estate, just who is someone you really aspire and kind of look up to?
I would say, as far as real estate, I have a real estate mentor, which I would strongly suggest that you do if you are thinking about getting into real estate. Get a mentor because they're very, very.
Yeah,
I feel like they're very. What's the word I'm looking for? Influential in your success or your failure.
yeah.
Um, and mine right now, her name is Jennifer Burns. She's a agent in my office. She was our office manager, but she stepped away just to do sales.
Mm.
But she has been such a blessing when it came to my real estate career. She's like a soundboard for me. She's very knowledgeable. She's a top producer.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's dope. I love her.
Okay, that's
Um,
dope.
yeah, I feel like just in general, my parents very,
Yeah,
very different, but both played very significant roles into my success. Like my mom
yeah,
is like the softer, like more encouraging
yeah,
part, and my dad is just like give it to me real, but he's just like you got this, you could go get it. Da, 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 da.
yeah.
So it's just like those three people are what are keeping me going, and then also my son is
Mm,
my why, because I feel like if he was never born, I probably never would have took this leap of faith and started following my dreams.
mm.
I say this all the time. Well, my close friends, family obviously know this, but I quit my full-time job to pursue real estate full-time.
Oh
I
wow.
hated my job that much that I
Yeah,
took a leap of faith to do a strictly commission-based career.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
knowing that I wanted to be in a happy space specifically for my son, I knew I was miserable. I did not want to take that out on him. So I feel as though I made this career transition for him, and this is the happiest I've been in a career.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
beautiful. Yeah, no, that listen, kids that do that to you,
They will.
um, they
They
will. Yeah, yeah. Like having my son gave me a whole new outlook on life. Gave me a
right.
whole new outlook on just why I'm doing what I'm doing. So that's beautiful. I'm definitely happy to hear that. And shout out to mom and dad. I don't know if they're
Yes.
watching, but shout out to them for doing a great job. So,
Thank you. Thank
um, yeah, no. So I guess my last question would be, what advice would you give to a young, hungry, eager real estate agent, right? Fresh out of, I guess fresh off their test, just getting their real estate license, just now getting to work. Like, what advice would you give them?
you. Whew, so much.
Okay.
um, First being, make sure that you're not getting into this industry because you think it's cute and it's glitzy and it's glamorous.
Hmm.
You could make a lot of money, but the money, you're gonna have to work for it.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a strictly commission based career. You do not get paid until both parties, meaning buyer and seller, sign on that dotted line. Um, so make sure that you're hungry for it. Make sure that if you are taking the route that I took and planning to jump full time into it. Make sure you have a little bit of a financial cushion so that you can still pay your bills.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
make sure you find a mentor, because a lot of stuff that you learn in your course, a lot of stuff that's on the test, it has nothing to do with what you're doing in real life, as far as like knowing contracts, knowing everything, every step of the way in a transaction. If you don't have somebody in your corner who can map that out for you, you're going to get extremely frustrated and you're going to quit. And I think the statistic is 75% of agents leave the business in their first year because it's so hard to get your first transaction.
Wow.
And I think it increases to 85% quit within their first 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's hard. And I think this year 60,000 agents have nationally have left the business.
Wow.
So it's like a dog eat dog real estate world. So if you're not passionate about it, if you don't have a mentor, also if you don't have a good brokerage that is providing you with extra education, technology, a decent split, I would say make sure that's the foundation to a successful first year, I think.
That's good. No, that's really good. Wow, those are some staggering numbers. So,
I know.
yeah, no. So thank you for sharing them, because
Not to scare anybody.
yeah,
Do this, but understand it's going to be hard. It is
but
going to be very hard.
yeah, and it's good to know. I think
Right.
that's just good to know. Good to know information, and just get into the mentality that you're not going to be that statistic. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think
Yeah,
that's the beautiful thing about it. So no,
definitely.
thank you for sharing that.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, that is all the questions that I have for the amazing Bianca. But I want to hear from y'all as well, folks. So put questions into the chat. We're now going to transition into the Q&A piece. So if you're tuning in via Facebook, put your questions in. You're tuning in via YouTube, put your questions in. We really want to, be able to, hear from y'all as well, so we can ask Bianca some questions. So I see we have a few folks who's on the live now. So if you have some questions, put them in the chat now. It could be real estate related, non-real estate questions as well, general questions. So go ahead and put them in the chat. But while y'all do that, we are going to learn a little bit more about Bianca, right? And so we're going to get into, just a little bit of knowledge about her. We ain't going to dive too deep, but, we're going to play a game where we basically ask Bianca her favorites. And so, I have a few statements that I'm going to read, and then I'm gonna give time for Bianca to answer those statements. So the first one I was going to ask, but I'm not sure. Well, I'm gonna ask it is your favorite wine, if you don't mind me asking.
Yes. So my favorite wine, let me make the disclaimer, like my taste buds are very, very childish. Like I like sweet stuff. I'm kind of starting to mature, where I like a little bit less sweet. But right now, my favorite wine is Gallo Family Peach Moscato. It's there for me.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, listen. Everybody got to start somewhere. No, I'm joking. Okay. No, that's beautiful. Okay. So your favorite genre of music?
My favorite genre of music is R&B.
Okay.
And it doesn't even matter like what decade. Like I love Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
Yeah, Lucky Day.
That's my guy. Love
Yes.
Lucky Day. Yeah.
Brent Fayez.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I love that. Now, who's your favorite, if you don't mind me asking? I know that's hard. That's a hard question.
that's very hard.
Yeah.
Favorite artist or R&B artist?
I guess. Well, let's do this. Your favorite R&B song and then your favorite R&B artist.
Okay, favorite R&B song is Anniversary by Tony.
Oh, that's like a 9-minute song. Okay.
I know. I like the 9-minute version too. They got the short and radio version. I love the 9-minute one. Somebody said that. And what was the second question?
I said your favorite R&B artist.
Favorite R&B? Oh, that's so tough. Let's go with I can't even answer that. Let's
Yeah,
stick
that's
with Marvin. Let's stick with Marvin. Shout out to
Marvin.
Marvin.
Okay,
Yeah,
we love it, and you can never go wrong with Marvin.
you
So,
can't. You
uh,
can't.
yes, awesome, awesome. Again, folks, put your questions into the chat. I want to make sure I can see them in my Facebook live. So, but please put questions into the chat that you have for Bianca. Okay, and the next one is your favorite place to eat.
Favorite place to eat here is Monterey Bay,
Yeah.
and it's not even for the food; it's for the atmosphere.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
it's just really, really like sexy to me because they have
Okay.
like this big, the whole one side of the wall just overlooks the city, and you're up like on top of Mount Washington.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite place to eat.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and you can see like a lot of the city from there, right? If I,
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
really beautiful at night.
okay. That's beautiful. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So your favorite place to relax after a long day?
Sadly, my couch or my bed.
ain't, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all.
Yes,
I love that.
those are my top two choices. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Your favorite vacation spot?
Um, I haven't even been there yet, but I'm manifesting it. That
Let's
is going
do
to
it.
be my favorite
Let's
vacation
do it.
spot. I'm gonna say Santorini, Greece.
Santorini. Wow, I've never heard anyone say Greece as like. Wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy. Okay. Now, do you want to go? Because no, this might be a dumb question, but I know Greece is cold at some points too. So, does it get warm in Greece at all?
yeah.
It does. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. I've never heard anyone say Greece. Okay. Uh, Misha said you ain't wrong about the couch and bed. Okay. I
Best
love
place to
that.
be.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Uh, awesome. Well, if y'all have questions, again, put y'all questions into the chat. We would definitely love to ask Bianca some more questions. Um, so yeah, awesome, awesome. Uh, but okay, well, if there isn't any questions, this is kind of where we usually close out the episode. But we'd love that for you all to put some questions into the chat so we can keep the conversation going. But if not, that's okay. Please, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Uncut and Uncorked. Please make sure y'all follow Bianca on all platforms, and I'm
Yeah.
going to make sure that y'all see that so that way. Um, yeah, so you all can follow her. So make sure you follow her. Bianca, is there any any last minute things you wanted to say before hopping off here?
Yes. Well, let me turn the tables a little bit and ask you
Oh,
something.
okay.
Um, for my people who follow me and will watch this, um, what what is Uncut and Uncorked? Like, what brought you to this venture?
Oh, okay. You know what's crazy? COVID brought me to this adventure because I've always wanted to do a podcast. Always wanted to do a podcast, but I tell people I'm what they call ambiverted. So I'm introverted and I'm extroverted. I would say I'm a little more introverted than I am extroverted. I'm learning as of recently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but so because of that, I was always nervous to kind of, like to do a podcast. And I've always loved wine. I just really never talked about it with anyone else. It was kind of an internal thing I had on my own. And so because of that, I was like, you know what? COVID's here. We just chilling in the crib. So I'm like, I'm gonna just go live on Instagram and start doing this thing called Uncut and Uncorked. And I did that. And so what it's about really, it's kind of a double entendre, is that uncut and uncorked. So we're having uncut conversations, like raw conversations, just about any and everything. But we're also uncorking those conversations, like you will uncork a wine bottle, and you're having those open and honest conversations. So I was like, I'm gonna call it Uncut and Uncorked because it started off as Wind Down Sundays at first. That's what it first started off as.
I
But I was
think
like, nah, yeah, okay. But I was like, nah, people probably doing that. Everybody got to wind down this or wind down that. So I'm like, I need to change it up. And I came up with Uncut and Uncorked, and that's how it came about. And I did it for a little while. I did it in 2021, but then I got COVID really badly in 2021. So I was out. Like I had pneumonia and everything. So it was pretty bad. And so I kind of chilled out for a while. And then I did it again for a little while. And then I took a break. And then my son came into the picture. And so that really kind of took me out of it. And then now I'm coming back and doing it again. I'm here full time to do it. I ain't taking no more breaks. I'm doing it full time, which is good. So yeah.
Yes, nice, nice, nice.
Yeah. But we do have a question someone asked you, and it says, "How do you know when?" I guess, how do you know when the best time to sell? Oh, when is the best? How do you know when is the best time to sell your house? Basically.
Okay, so you want to look at, why are you selling your house? Is it because you need to downsize? Is it another type of family event or major event that is making you want to sell? Are you going to need to buy another home after you sell? Or are you going to go into renting? But as far as like time of the year, if that's what you're asking, early spring. So I would say, like, get your house together in the winter months and be ready to go earliest March. I feel like March and June are like your sweet spot.
That's good to know. I didn't know that.
Mm.
Um, okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And then we got Niche in here. Niche said
Hi.
great session. Yeah, she said great session. So thank you for tuning in, Niche.
Thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate you. But also, y'all, I think that's about it. We're gonna wrap this up. But Bianca, just want to say thank you so much for doing this. I
Thank
really
you. Thank
appreciate
you
it.
for giving me my first podcast experience.
Yeah, of course. Listen, you got a lot of knowledge. You got a lot of things to offer. So again, please make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel. You like and subscribe, Uncut and Uncorked on YouTube. Also follow me on Instagram at Earthlyvine. If you can, you'll get all updates about the show there. And then last but not least, please make sure you follow Bianca on all platforms as well too. If you need real estate advice, if you need advice about buying a home, selling a home, even renting a home, right? Even hit up Bianca, and I'm sure she can help you with it. Just because you're in another state, that don't mean she can't give you advice. So I'm in Texas, so all of my folks who are in Texas, make sure y'all go hit her up. Folks in Florida watching wherever, just make sure I hit her up. So with that being said, this is the episode 2 of Uncut and Uncorked. I appreciate you all. I love all you all. I love you all. And yeah, and we out of here. So thank you all.